Alright folks, on this installment of Muskie Mods we are going to be replacing the bag on a muskie net. This one right here I've been using for probably since about 2012 or 13. It's made by Musky Innovations. Yes, they made nets for a little bit. This is a Bulldawg series net. It has served me absolutely perfectly for many years, but it's just time for a new bag. As you can see, I've got, this thing is zip tied together. Just beat the snot here. I had a 51 caught earlier this summer that just tore the living heck out of this thing. So what I did then is this hoop and bag I actually attached to a Frabill PowerCatch handle and yoke. The Musky Innovations actually has holes on its side, whereas the Frabill PowerCatch has holes on top. So what I had to do when I took this hoop and put it in here, I actually had to drill holes on top. You can see those right there lined up perfectly with the yoke on the Frabill, so I didn't have to drill any additional holes in this plastic as opposed to this is metal right here. The thing with the Bulldawg net, why I didn't keep it, is because this is just so dang heavy. This yoke itself weighs almost, I would say, close to a pound, and the handle is metal as well, but it's pretty dang heavy. It was just a little too heavy because I solo fish quite a bit. So I decided, well, the original net that came on my power yoke just wasn't cutting it. You look at this, it's a coated net, but it's got knots in it. And I'm not a big fan of that. It's got some coating on it, but it's nothing special really. So I didn't care for this at all. So I purchased this Musky Innovations net, and it was on discount. Evidently they were, it's closeout or something. I got it for like 70 bucks, which is just a screaming deal. So, that said, what I want to do is, now, like I said, this net is torn to heck. What I did is I put the original bag on just as a stopgap measure until I could get a decent bag. But unfortunately, I hooked into a 60-something, about 64, 65-inch sturgeon this year, and it just popped a hole right through here, probably about this big. It just popped right through. And this stuff is, you know, fairly sturdy. So again, I don't trust it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to keep this old bag on the old hoop for PowerCatch, because I'm not going to be using that. That's going to be used as kept as just a spare. What I'm going to do is replace the bag, the Musky Innovations bag, on its Bulldawg net with an RS Nets bag. I went on the website, and apparently I couldn't find anything that showed that they sell the bags solo without the hoop or net or yoke or handle. So I reached out to Jeff Miller there, who was awesome to work with. Told him what I need, gave him my dimensions, and they made the nets special for me to fit this hoop. So what we're going to do first is we're going to unbox the RS net. See what it looks like. I ordered their Magnum Muskie size, which is a fairly big net. There we go. Oh yes. And I got it in the 2-inch. They come in like 3/4 versus 2-inch. I think it's 3/4. But I got the 2-inch size. That's 2 inches in between the slats in here. I reached out to some folks who already have RS nets. Because I do a lot of solo fishing, the 2-inch will probably provide a little less resistance as I'm scooping through the water with the bag. So that's why I went with the 2-inch. I love this. The rubberized, knotless mesh. This is perfect for muskies. At least you'll minimize the potential to remove the slime coat, as well as protecting its fins and its eyes as it rubs up against the net when it's in the bag, because muskies do not have eyelids. So we try to make sure that we protect the sight on every fish we catch. This is the bag right here. Boom. It's 48 inches deep. All right, so now we've got this. What we'll do is we'll make sure that it will fit to the dimensions of the hoop that I've got here. And again, this is the Musky Innovations hoop that I've retrofitted to fit into a Frabill PowerCatch handle and yoke. Oh yeah. Now the next step is taking the old bag off the hoop. So what I need to do here is start working these loops out. I need to work, get slack out, bring it down to one side. As long as I can get that first one off, that's usually the toughest. And there, popped off. There's that first one. Now, just do successive ones as we loosen the tension on this. And we just continue to work around the hoop, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. Some more. There we go. Once we get it about a quarter of the way, the rest of it will just slide right off. There we go. That's the old net. Bag. Here's the hoop. Now what we want to do is put the RS net replacement bag on this Musky Innovations Bulldawg hoop here. So we will start by finding the opening, the top. This end right here goes closest to the yoke, right there. So what we will do, just as we pulled that first one off, we pulled it off this way and had to cinch everything up around. We're going to do the opposite on this one. We're going to take, this is how it's going to sit on the hoop. We're going to take this side and thread it through all the way around, and it's going to do a complete 360. Boom, like that, once we get everything on. Along the top ridge of the net, you'll see that there's a black strip of nylon, heavy-duty stuff, that goes across the entire circumference of the top of the net. And it's got some other support straps that go down the net itself towards the bottom of the bag. But on top, you'll see just above that strip, there is another piece of netting, long string of netting that goes just above that. And in between that, between this nylon strip and that netting string there are a series of loops about every 2 inches there. And this is what your hoop goes through. There's 2 ways you can put this on. You'll notice that on one side, it's just, all you see is that nylon strip. And on the inside, on the other side, you can see there's actually some netting. What I want is that netting on the inside. I want that rubberized portion there to face the inside. Let's get started. So we will start threading it through the loops. First one. One, third, just gradually move it on up. Again, I'm just putting, every 2 inches there's a loop there. I just put that loop over the hoop, the end of the hoop that goes into the yoke. And eventually we'll cinch all this up all the way around, and our net should be ready to rock and roll. And I will fast forward through this because this is going to be very boring, because this will take probably about a good 15-20 minutes. Seven, and here's the last one. There we go. Now all I need to do is cinch this around, stretch this out over the hoop. All the loops right now are over the hoop. What I'm doing now is just kind of evening it out, spreading it out across the entire hoop. It's going to be a little big for this hoop, but it should work. There it is. All you need to do now is put the hoop back into the PowerCatch yoke, put the handle in. I'll be adding some pool noodles, probably about a third of the way up or so, just to make sure that this is nice and buoyant, so it floats if it ever pops out of the boat. Especially if you're driving in big water, like Green Bay, St. Clair, you're pounding like 3-4 footers, things can bounce out of your boat very easily. Phones, glasses, headphones, I've had it all happen. And fortunately, I never had a net issue because I put the pool noodles on mine. So, just a word of advice, just something I do. Here's a Frabill PowerCatch handle and yoke. I'm going to take the hoop off of this because the net is garbage. There we go. This stays. This hangs on the wall as a spare. All the hardware on here is stainless steel washers, stainless steel machine screws. There it is. So this is a Frankenstein net. You've got your Frabill PowerCatch handle and yoke. This is a Musky Innovations Bulldawg hoop. And the bag is by RS Nets. This is a Muskie Mag net. We are ready for battle. Final step is this also comes with a little stranded wire loop here with a clasp on it that screws tight. Unscrew that. There we go. And we just put it around. We bunch up whatever else is left over here. Kind of bunch it up towards the yoke. I suppose you could also use a zip tie. I've used zip ties in the past. There you go, that is cinched up. We are ready to rock. It's just that simple. Any questions, hit me up in the comments.